Hey, Nadine. Hey, Lisa.
Hello.
Oh, the other one. It's today anyway.
Today is no, just kidding. 60.
60.
It looks very good, actually.
That's what I think I saw on my phone earlier. A good chance of.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Flowers, so nice.
These you want a little bit, so they are very long.
Mm-hmm.
So the window is light,
Mm-hmm.
but too much water than they fall.
Yeah. Did you see how Melanie,
Yeah,
how she put title onto
yeah.
the trees?
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's pretty amazing.
Why? Because sometimes it's eventually tree damage,
Mm.
the root and the wet trees can.
Yeah, yes.
Otherwise, it's very nice. She knows those things.
Hi. Have you been here before?
Yeah, I met you last time I was here.
It's still me? Huh? It's still me?
Yeah.
It's still you?
It's
Okay.
still,
Good.
yeah, we went out to
You can hear
lunch
this.
together.
Oh.
You sat right next.
Oh, heck,
You
yes.
sat right next to me,
Yes.
but I don't remember your name.
That's okay, I don't remember yours either.
Michelle.
Paula.
Paul, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. Nice
Yeah.
to be seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you look at this plot? Yeah, you. Okay. Or you. Maybe Lincoln can help. Oh.
Good. No,
Okay, good morning, everyone. Turn to page 1 in the prayer book and we'll begin. All other sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation in all minds, may they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. All sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in the glorious kind Lama Vajradhara, the embodiment of the body, speech, mind, qualities, and activities of the Buddhas of the 10 directions and the 3 times, source of the 84,000 categories of the teaching and Lord of the Sanghas. We take refuge in the kind root Lama and lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the Idams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom.
Attention, Sava, Tain, Jubai, Jive, Parante, Lama, Atamba, Namla, Jose, Jevo, Yedai, Jingore, Jelato, Namla, Jose, Jevo, Sanje, Jomden, De, Namla, Jose, Jevo. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha are most excellent. I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
refuge of all sentient beings without exception, divine subjugator of terrifying Maras, together with their hosts of demons, the one who understands all realities without exception exactly as they are, transcendent conqueror, together with your disciples, please come here to this place. The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the 4 continents, and the sun and moon. As a Buddha field, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fields. Whatever merit I've gathered through prostrations, offering, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Okay, and then to page 11. Namo, to the Lama of utterly pure appearance and existence, I offer the fundamental ground of appearance and existence. I supplicate you to thoroughly liberate the 3 realms. Please grant your blessings and overturn the depths of samsara. Sublime Master, wish-fulfilling jewel, crown ornament, the inconceivable, inexpressible mind of the victorious ones, the one endowed with the 5 wisdoms of omniscience, gracious one, the embodiment of love, precious protector of beings, I supplicate you from within the essence of mind. Please grant your blessings from within the innate nature. Please grant me that I may realize the Abhidharma beyond intellect, this primordially unborn, completely pure mind. Transcending conqueror, the one thus gone, foe destroyer of afflictive emotions, completely perfected Buddha, endowed with logic and virtue, the one gone to bliss, knower of the world, captain, tamer of beings, the unexcelled teacher of gods and men, I respectfully prostrate, completely touching my head to the stainless feet of the unequaled Shakya king. At the time of your birth, leader of 2-legged beings, taking 7 steps on this great earth, you proclaimed, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise even then, I prostrate. Possessing a body of complete purity, your sublime form is excellent. An ocean of primordial wisdom, you are like a golden mountain, the one whose renown is evident throughout the 3 worlds, protector of supreme attainment, to you I prostrate. To you who are endowed with the supreme marks,
whose face is like an immaculate moon. To you, the one like complexion like gold, I prostrate. A flawless one such as you among the three levels of existence is most exquisite. Unparalleled, omniscient one, to you I prostrate. Supreme among humans, captain of those to be tamed, the one thus gone who severs the all-binding fetters, who with senses pacified is utterly pacified and skilled in peace. To that one, the one who dwelled at Shravasti, I prostrate. Refuge endowed with great compassion, totally omniscient one who indicates the way, ground bases for oceans of merit and qualities, I prostrate to the one thus gone. The pure cause free from attachments, the virtue that liberates from the lower realms, the altogether supreme ultimate truth, to the pacifying Dharma I prostrate. Having been liberated, they also reveal the path to liberation. Thoroughly respectful of the three higher trainings, they are a field of sublime qualities. To the Sangha I also prostrate. And then to page 9.
Namo Nase Nanda Ke Lama La Nase Ye Se Chobambu Kamso Yondore To Sorwande Korwa Tonto Se Shinjelo Jeye Norwe Soke Je Masai Jami Jarbeto Kimbe Yeshe Ngadande Tsewe Tanye Kajeje Androwa Chunze Rinpoche Dasemye Jengane Sorwande Chunye Jengande Jenjelo Samdone Jime Nandande Lande Chuga Tobai Jenjelo Jon Dende Deshin Shekwa Chada Jombai Yanda Bara Zobe Sanje Rekwa Tan Yasu Demba Devara Yekwa Jiden Jemba Jivenduwa Akalo Jurwa Lana Meba Lada Me Namje Tomba Nami Shai Ji Jarbo Shabji Du Tema Meba Lango Rabde Dode Kupe Shamsa Loi Kante Kanye Sovoy Jodanse Sajen Dela Kompa Tungorne
Nani
Jiten Dena Choje Son Tese Kepa Chila Chansalo Ananda Kunga Chodo Susangwa Yeshe Janso Serje Lambodra Adrapa Jiten Sumna Nangewa Gombo Chunye Chila Chansalo Antenjo Demba Time Davesha Sedor Kawa Chila Chansalo Uduja Juja Saba Sonanze Nyame Chenchen Chila Chansalo Duwa Kalo Junze Jen Kunjura Junwa Junze Tishin Jen Ambo Jadai Nyerje Jelai Nyanyo Shopa Dalai Chansalo so na yon ten jan so shin de she la chang sa lo da ben do jai te be ju de be nge song le ru shin e je le tong dai jo jo wai je jo jo la chang sa lo a cho ne tu ve lo yong dong pa pa ta la ra tu gu shin ke tong pa yong tian ji gen ge la yong chang sa lo.
To page 15. I prostrate to the youthful Manjusri, to those in the worlds of the 10 directions, however many there are, all the lions among humans who appeared during the 3 times, to all of them, without exception, I pay homage with respectful body, speech, and mind. The force of my aspiration prayer for excellent conduct brings all the victorious ones directly to mind. Bowing down with bodies as numerous as atoms in the realms, I prostrate to all the victorious ones. In a single atom there are Buddhas as numerous as atoms, each residing in the midst of their sons and daughters. Like that, I imagine the whole Dharmatatu completely filled with victorious ones. To those with oceans of inexhaustible, praiseworthy qualities, with sounds containing oceans of tones of melodic speech, I express the qualities of all the victorious ones. I praise all the Sugatas. With the finest flowers, the finest garlands, music, ointments, supreme parasols, supreme lamps, and the finest incense, I make offerings to the victorious ones. With the finest cloths, supreme scents, and fine powders equal to Mount Meru, all displayed in supreme and magnificent ways, I make offerings to those victorious ones. With vast and unsurpassable offerings, I venerate all the victorious ones. Through the power of faith and excellent conduct, I prostrate and offer to the victorious ones. Whatever negative actions I have performed with body, speech, and also mind, overpowered by desire, aggression, and stupidity, I confess each and every one of them. I rejoice in everyone's merit, the victorious ones of the 10 directions, the Bodhisattvas, the Pratyeka Buddhas, those in training, those beyond training, and all beings. I request the protectors, the lamps of the worlds of the 10 directions, who passing through the stages of awakening, attain Buddhahood beyond attachment, to turn the unsurpassable Dharma wheel. I supplicate with my palms joined together those who intend to demonstrate nirvana, to remain for kalpas as numerous as atoms in the realms, for the welfare and happiness of all beings. I dedicate whatever slight virtue is accumulated through prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and supplicating to enlightenment. And then to page 14.
Te dai chu je ye na ma lu ba tam che jawa da ke kamar mo te da pa me se jan do na yang je yan la jan so da gun je jawa gun je yon ten ra ju je e de wa ye pa tam che da ke so me to tam ba chen wa tam ba tam san si nye tam dan chu ba dong cho tam ma me cho tam du ko tam ba ye ja wa te ta ta ne cho ba ye na za tam ba tam dan chen cho tam chen ma pur me le ra nyam ba tam ko ba che ba be cho kun ye ja wa te da la ya cho ba ye cho ba kan na la me ja che wa te da jar wa tam che la ya mo Zambo Julai Tibi Dodai Ki Jawa Kunai Changse Chobai Ji Endo Chai Shetan Demo Wangi Ni Ludan Gagdan Deshin Yi Je Jai Dikpa Danji Tage Jibe Ba de da tam je da ge so so sha cho che kya wa kun dan san ge se ran ja ra nam da lo da me lo da ro wa kun je so na gan la yang de da kun je se da ye ra Kana chochu chiten promada chancho rembai sanje machadi gombo te da ke tamche la angolo lana me pa korwa kwe nyangen da don kanye te la la Prowa kula penshe de che kya pa shinge dunye shopaya da ke ta mo raja sorwaye chaksa wadan chochin shapada jesu yerai koshin sorwaye gewa shunse dage chisapa tamche sope chanjo jembo.
To page 16. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
tamchi saipa kunchen chu je je nyamen de hong ren chen ku chong zi hongme chu je yen je po dong de ten song je kun je ngo ni rong sum jo ke ngo sum tong zi bi zi wei la me xiao lo ku chong zi Kanda jojo dong kin ji ten na, de ge long mar jia wo kang su da, deng de dong bi ju jian chen be ba, san bun do wa tam qin de ye. Namo har ya la ye ge dang lu dang de ji ge, zhong da da mi ge nam ne, do gung jie de gi jie zong ba, tam ji ge de da ge ju den do. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Tene da tanda nga tsu ngondu seyati theatres. Ngondu ro preliminary.
So then, today, Drupon will be continuing to give instructions on the preliminary practices of the Vajrayana tradition of Buddhism.
Tene da nga tsu di tenjo nikawa tene semetawa ti chin simbare tene da nga tsu tanda di le junde tango tsu batene jires.
So in these, in the common preliminaries, there's first contemplating the freedoms and advantages of having a precious human birth, and then there is contemplating death and impermanence, and then now we are going through the teachings on karma, cause and effect.
What that the that the compte 가르세나 가서다 초제 섬노 땅비나 tene 다 넘바 상제베기 추디 tene 가르세고다 지금 좁발라 서반도 tene 다 차디요레스.
So, going back, then from one side of things, then the Buddhist tradition, the tradition of Buddhism, and the teachings, the Dharma teachings of the Buddha are, on one hand, new in the West.
이나 양다 제치나 그 니울라야 사마레 다 로몽본도 심베레스.
On the other hand, it's not necessarily that new. They've been around, teachings of Buddhism have been around in Western countries for quite a few years now.
디인디다 제탄 가르세나 넘버 상제베케다 가추지 미유 근도디 직 심전현라 맥바트 차디요로와 심전현라 팬토야 키치드 레스.
So in this way, in the tradition of Buddhism, there is thinking about what is happening to other beings in the human realm and other beings that exist. And when we think about what is happening to other beings, this can be beneficial.
That indu pena that karsegore that ngarangone dawjik samno tambina my experience karsena nga 2001 la medin labores.
So in terms of Drupon's own, Drupon Thinley's own experience, He came to the U.S. He came to Maryland in the year of 2001.
that the page 2001 la some no tang bi na tene page ngedong you when you come to TMC
To start?
or come you move to TMC.
Well, I moved to TMC in 2002, but I began traveling there, I think in 1992 or 1993.
Okay, so that is how it feels. Old, so it's many years. So I remember I was there 2001 and before the Losar, right? So we did the fire puja. I think first time I was there. So then that indeed was Therese Tiga Nagita 2002 la tene da pagilanga te pecha tiga gozo brace spring teaching la.
Payula, or Maryland.
Maryland.
So then, in that way, so it's actually been some time that Drupon has been in the West, and so then in 2002 he began doing the spring teachings in Maryland.
When you come steep.
First time I went to Maryland,
Yeah.
probably around 93 maybe or 4, one of those years.
Right, but then I was there, you were there, right? I remember.
Yeah, I was there when you first came there. And well, it was the weekend of 9/11 that you came, and we had this empowerment. It was some teaching by Garch and Ricochet.
Right in Gettysburg, right?
And it was this like amazing, fateful weekend. It was the Friday of 9/11. And that's when I first met you.
That in the Tiganaji ke da Pechemena da Tigavla Mark, I think I'm not sure the Demilia Mark to the here now. So Mark in Colorado, he's come to teaching, we know, I think 2002. Tiganaji da ngato dele yu dewa. When is the Dalai Lama teaching in the Miami? 2004. Or that 2004 la Lincoln, Paula, Rolf, who are here today. Oh, okay, yes. I think what it is.
There's Ralph.
Yeah, Rolf, yes. That indeed, Lomamboji Chimberes, the continuation, Tendejeketa, Chunyamla Chivatela, Narangone, Lotan Lo, and Dawat and Dawatune, Chunyamla Chiatela, Chingarangone Tela, Karsegota, appreciate and rejoicing.
So in this way, there has been a lot of time, many years that people in this community have been continually practicing and studying. So, month by month, year by year, people have been, sticking with this, and Drupon really appreciates that and rejoices in everyone's practice.
Somno yabo tambina, nyamle chingyan tzola, kale mambo yores.
So if we think about this well, then these practitioners have undergone a lot of hardships.
So Harkya means so this tremendous support to the Buddha Dharma. Like for instance, so they gave the, like for example, like we call the whatever, I don't know, donations or memberships. They give year after year. Not only that, so another special donations, and also we are the event, so they come, and also this necessity, otherwise we survive in the Dharma Center. So, so how much expensive? So, 오다 대가 나 얘기했더니 다 지 초강 지기티네 지 루크토 이네레 지 번조크토 이네레 깔레 뭐뭐 잡요레스.
So, if we look at this from these different, angles, then we see that, physically, just being present and being part of the community and these practices, there are a lot of, hardships and difficulties that these practitioners have, gone through. And then also with, supporting, the Dharma through all their different, resources and so forth, that's also been a, tremendous, sometimes a struggle, but a way that they've really offered, a lot, even sometimes at, great difficulty.
어다티 인도다티 갈세낭 가도다 삼노 땅고 그래스. 틴디 지바텔라 다 펜토 초니로와. 제일 상제 때말 팽그레스. 틴디 지바텔라.
So if we think about this, we can think about how there are two types of benefits. One is that universally, this benefits the tradition of Buddhism.
제가 나기 다 specific 가르라고 하잖아. 맞어디 직 초초 배는 롱을 탄다라고 값사발라 롱을 창조하는 편요레스.
Drupon 창조.
롱을 창조네.
So then, specifically though, too, this benefits this particular community, and so everyone who participates and is part of this community, near and far, of Drongor Changchup Ling.
That depends on the contribution. Not only like money, but thingmatic de la young batala, then pengayores, physically lesson.
So again, it's not just financial resources that people put into to the community. Even just when somebody attends, just even one time, that builds the community.
어디니다 가서 참여하고 그래다 건가시 원에 직다 가두이나 마차와 딱 발랩 두고요래 되니다 될라 공가서디 초파들라 상제 템바 찔라 되니 팽기요래스.
So, and then probably a lot of you know, but some of the participants come all the time, and when people come all the time and have this regular presence, it not only benefits this particular community, but it benefits the tradition of Buddhism on a universal level as well.
다 interestingly interdependent. 다 really truly 술 팽거라나 윤케 individual 코라라 팽거요레스.
And then there's another benefit that is very interesting, and if we look at the interdependence of how activities and benefits work, then also individually, when we come and participate, then we experience a direct individual benefit as well.
Yeah, most beneficial. Wa. What in the jump thinkers, one Bernata, Chiranso lo nishu sum juke, lo nishu renke, Nyamle jun tu debike, ta chik nyamnyon experience tike, tene chik ta churang give up chin chituk mares, value hakugores, benefit hakugores. Berna churang message nala, churang give up china, kachi chituk tugres, chik yina yang, karsena, churata, dharma give up china, chituba yo mares. Thinley jeke, ko chuk chinlap, chuk nupa, chuk pento, tene hako yoris.
So the reason behind this is, if we look at the people who have been practicing and participating for, 20, 30 years, then, through their practice, they gain experiences. They gain, the benefits of practice. And, maybe there aren't like all kinds of, material benefits that you get when you, pour yourself into the Dharma practice and so forth. But when you devote your life to the Dharma, then, in Dharma practice, then there are all these blessings naturally just within that. That's the blessing in itself. Day trouble?
Yeah, so this, you have experience, right? So maybe you cannot give 2 miracles, you can fly. But I think really you have experience. Like for instance, so maybe you or some of us, or maybe your decision, maybe like your life, so maybe something you give up, but you can, so you stop something, you give up something, you can, individually. But right now you cannot give up Buddha Dharma. Because of your experience, because of how benefit, because of your how special, So maybe your finance, something, money, or maybe we do some donations or some give up, so maybe some friends, or I don't know, so just sometimes we want or we give up. But I said that the Dharma is value, you cannot give up the Dharma. That's what Thinley. Yeah. What Thinley in the Chignasoti, so Tama interdependent is that some Bangro, the Karsana Sanjit Embala, Penya la, Karsana, Lama Yobi, Pengamare, Statue, Beja Yobi, Pengamare, Mook Nyamnachi Guyors, Mugo Yores, Muyuvana, Mook Nyamnachina, then Sanjit Embajel Pengore, Samjana Pengores.
So everything is interdependent. And so when, we have, devotion towards the Buddha's teachings, it benefits us. It's, for instance, when we show devotion for like a statue, it's not about benefiting the statue.
Right, yes. If we have only statue, maybe not that, maybe little benefit, but not much. Statue cannot speak, And also not only a lama, maybe himself or whatever can practice, but not really benefit. So we have people, individually everybody practice, and that is benefit Buddha Dharma or whatever. I don't know. This is interesting. This English is kind of Sanje Temba Seya Pelela or Poki Nangla. The English is very confusing, right?
So in Tibetan, Sanje Tempa means teachings of the Buddha. And
yeah, but more than that, actually. There's a huge meaning, you know.
So
but
if you say teachings of the Buddha, it means like this very vast, all the culture, all the practice, all the like tradition, all the blessings, like it's this whole thing. And if you say teachings of the Buddha, people are like, is that like a book you can buy on Amazon or something? Like,
yeah, that's really a little bit confusing, you know. We say, okay, Buddha Dharma, what means Buddha Dharma, you know? Still, it's not inner, you know, what is combined. Even though we said, okay, Buddha Dharma, you know, this Buddha Dharma we get Tibetan called Goncho Song, but not inner. Sanje Tenpa is not the most kind of extensive, powerful, and this kind of everything's contents there.
so like Drupon was saying, the term, and this is really an encompassing term, Konchok Sum means like the three jewels, the three rare and supreme things, which include the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, which is a very profound thing. But even to say the Sanje Tempa, which is, it means the teachings of the Buddha, but contained within that term Sanje Tempa, when you say it in Tibetan, it has this encompassing power. And so it's difficult. I mean, the words mean teachings of the Buddha, but the meaning implies this whole systematic, like blessing world. It's like a whole universe unto itself.
Otinita ti kukunda yona pengi yomare, lama yona pengi yomares, ta someone zombo yores.
So, if we just have statues, if we just have statues, if we just have a lama, a teacher, if we just have a text, those things by themselves don't benefit. There needs to be an interrelated audience.
Then the story, I think maybe 1st century or 2nd century, I don't know exactly, but in a Tigabla, Sri Lanka ke ta Tawatsu ke, then Sanje Kitanda di Samato kita do tende pa kichi tende jarwu kingdom la sha yoris inati jikta za chembo re mato study kan chi yo marwa kan pen to yo maris
So console the Sanje ki do
becha ki yoris
the Sri Lanka la.
mar Sri Lanka monk to ke Tibetan ki
Oh,
yoris
Pula ke.
Yeah.
So there's a story that goes back a long time ago, and there were monks from Sri Lanka, Buddhist monks, and perhaps around the turn of the millennium, like the 1st century or something like that, long time ago, maybe 2,000 years ago or something, these monks had a sutra, a text of the Buddha's teachings, and they took it from Sri Lanka to Tibet, and they brought that text, but the text alone didn't have, just that much benefit.
Even though got the king, but king respect, but there's nothing study, nothing practice. So that's really sort of blessing, but nothing, basically it's nothing beneficial. And after that, another like very, I think, I don't know, another like scholar, Pentida, Bena Jagarke, Benata, Tika like Hartna, Closiak, and Nambe Dembati, and that Samatarius, Tinane, Geta Cheshoki, Tine, that Pentida, Tine, Polar Pebbles. Polar Pebneta, Tidi, Corona translator, Yosara, Tine, Lamgala, Tine. Translator the Tronchi, Tine Corona Pool Labaris. In a Pumuk Haku Yomare, Corona get a Mantuchine, 호랑이한테 마상제 로 총견도 샤 칼라티 마상티가 하고 말와 벤다이미 드리지네 고 펜토요 말이스.
So there was this really incredible, famous scholar, this Pandita, this Buddhist teacher in India. And out of all the, the west and the east of all the land, he was the most famous. And he went to Tibet. However, his translator died on the road. And so then he still went to Tibet. But when he got to Tibet, because no one knew who this person really was and what they could teach, then he really didn't benefit people. He got some food, but they didn't know if he was just like an ordinary person or anything. So it didn't really help.
Then he tried to help some nomad family. He took care of the hips. That's it. So maybe he got food, clothing, but nothing benefit. Tindi in the tongue also the Benata TG Lata, Puk Yerbo, so Chasson Descent, Kakabla Tenangata, Lobjonche, Tandanayi, and Gatota, Chiglamic, Beja Tiguyore, Beja Jurguyore, Ota, Chik Tandata, Temambo Yore, Ota, Tenayi Chichi, Tigabla, Tene, Chik Yane painted the sword in the hue, Pobek Malaya Jagatani, Kosanji Tembateta. Jagala Kanyuati, Polatario, or Tindita, Tandini Nicolata, not on the window of Chadi or is. Dendrik, Samiki, Yamnachi, Ropachi, Gejorchina, Tenanga, some channel pentot of eternity, you want to go this.
So then it wasn't until later, especially during the time of the king Trisong Detsen, who ruled Tibet in the 700s, especially the late 700s. Then, during that time, Buddhism became widely established and studied, and many texts were brought to Tibet. They were translated. Many masters and teachers from India were invited to Tibet. And came and taught and transmitted the Dharma. Then many Tibetans went to India to study. And so everybody then began to practice, and many teachings were translated and so forth. And then with this, then Buddhism was established there.
당아서 단다로와 similarly 단다들이 요래 있는데라고 즉 라마야요 서포트야요 되네 주 진행야요 기 jungen야요 배차예도 단다디 당원의 당내지 배마시비케 갈세거리 탐 코갑 되네지 요래스 대요와 틀레데네 당 콘티와 나기리 지랑소기 냠len치와 텔라 지랑소 찍부만이 바테네 다보다다 말 팽교래스.
So, this is, right now is a similar time when, there's the support of lamas and teachers, and the Dharma is being practiced, and it is being, supported by people, in various countries, and like here, offering, their support and practice. And so at this time, it's similar to back then in Tibet. And now, the Dharma is being able to be transmitted and put into practice.
딱 그 단대 뒤에 그 스페셜 그 인바당 하고 상보레스.
So, one thing that Drupon has said, this benefits not just ourselves, but also the Buddha Dharma as a whole. And so this is a really special, unique time.
What that 이 단계 so I before said. So 이나 양다 가서지 양 추치야 되라 고지 윤투니 치고야지리 마도베게 지 추게 직디스 코와잠 제다 고 지 니마 카히엔 다와 카히올로직 추치발라 tene rank jutla chi jurwa ten tobya jeta rank jutla wacha kha tobya yo mare stand ko ta chi kharsa day after day tene ki nyamna chi go ya de chi che bo insa des.
So, in this way, it's really important, though, that we really try to, practice and understand the Dharma continuously. It can happen that we just, get a brief, kind of intellectual understanding. Maybe we spend a few days with the Dharma, maybe even a few months. But if we just stop there, then we don't really get the full benefit. We need to continuously put the Dharma into practice and contemplate it and so forth to get the full benefit.
oda tindu tigan na ye ta nga zo tanda ji ka chang shu be yin tindu ta tanda yang nga zo nyamlen che ya ke particular ta these locations la gro tini do zo mo dang bi na nga zo ta nyamlen che sa yang yo re rang ki nyamlen chi shin ge yo re tine ta kar se na ji lama scenery ko tindi yang ji ke che sa ji yo re tindu ta ti ko yang 아직 고갑디 마효와드 지하 개친 부인 서비스.
So, right now too, this is a special place of practice. It's a place where we can practice. We have lamas that teach, and there's community that's practicing. And so we should really, not just think of this opportunity as carelessly. We should really, regard this opportunity right now here as something very special.
I think that's it. That the da nga zo de kachang di da le se ya ti gang la le bare tin di le de la da gebe ki le thang mege ki le se na re yana sonam ki le thang sonam yin bi ki le se ya ji yores.
So then to continue on with the teachings, last weekend, we were going through the teachings on karma, cause and effect. And in these teachings, there are, teachings about what is virtuous and what is non-virtuous. Likewise, there's an explanation of what is, merit and what is not merit.
So, what means the merit?
Sometimes I think it's, you could say good karma. Although it's like, I think of it sometimes like, well, like money in the bank. It's like this good energy, this good force that you have. You kind of carry it with you.
Okay. So what is the other, what is the explanation? I don't know. No, just merit. Yes, good. Yeah, you can say good merit, but merit.
Merit is like the microphone.
Oh.
I think of merit as a field.
Big.
Merit as a field, is what she said.
Okay.
Like seeds.
Okay.
Like planting seeds.
Like planting seeds.
Okay. Yeah, Bob Lincoln.
Like, I don't know, but like merit would be like good deeds.
Merit is good deeds.
Good deeds, doing something positive to benefit not just yourself, but others as well.
Okay.
Oh, Yvonne.
Ivan.
Well, I'll look up the definition.
by Mr. Google.
Okay, don't look at Google, okay?
Yeah. The quality of being particularly good or worthy, especially as to deserve praise of reward. To serve or to be worthy of something, especially reward, punishment, or attention. So it could be good merit or bad merit. Like
Yeah, we're talking about good merit, okay, good merit.
good
Now it's
merit
good
is
merit,
to
okay.
be worthy, you know. I call it good karma points.
Okay,
That's how I call it for my personal understanding.
okay.
So the results of practice and anything that benefits others, it's kind of like the, like the bank account, right? So you have a merit account. As you do more practice, more good deeds, more benefits for others, then your merit increases.
Okay. Right.
I guess we look at it from two things. One, merit being the qualities, like that person's merit, and then also from the transactional kind of thing of accumulation, right? I don't like the word transaction, but we're accumulating positive energy, positive fields, or does this person exude these particular qualities? So two different directions, I guess.
Good, thank you.
Well, we may not be fully realized as Buddhists, but if we practice the virtues, we have a foothold. We are being like Buddha to the extent that we are practicing the virtues. And that's a good start.
Yeah.
I guess it's like paving the road to enlightenment. The more merit you get, the more the road improves and gets better and gets closer and closer to enlightenment and bodhicitta.
Very good.
Oh.
I see it in keeping with the last few comments, which is getting closer to result, easier access to result, easier ability to relinquish negative habits and sort of fixated thoughts and things like that. So it's related to a certain amount of liberation or insight, maybe wisdom. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's not always dharma. It could be anything that makes others happy too, right? So, like in the road, you told a story one time about, if you clean up a road, people are happy because they don't see the trash. And so that's a way of generating positive merit. The opposite, of course, is to leave something in the road which people don't like to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. Okay, I think a very good answer, I think. Really. Tangi Kontuwa Nangiri, Sanji Temba Siati, kind of really extensive. Tenayi, I believe, is Sonam Siati, Tenayi Ke, Be Jachimbo, things about Chanso Labanayi, Suyimina Yang, been a field in the Zonam Chagiore, Teganayi part, Tanda de la Zonam Chagiore, bank account of merit, Rwangasoti, Tina, Ko, Sonam Chagiores. In a chat, how Jilata, Tella, Sonam, spare really big, not only Karsagore, not this life, Rawa, Bena. Next love, until in the Buddhahood, until Buddhahood 말이 Buddhahood 코란 쏘는 원의 리얼 쏘는 데 데려와. 뒤에다 갈색 그지고 지금 beyond counting down, beyond we cannot say that's limit this much we cannot say. 근데 제가 되네 소나라고 얘기했어요. Esta control the bigger view. 지금 extensive 좀 담비나.
So, just like as before, Drupon was explaining that this phrase Sanjay Tempa in Tibetan, which literally translates to Buddha's teachings, has this very vast meaning that is widely encompassing and not just limited to the words. Two, also this term. Drupon believes that this term sonam in Tibetan, which we can translate as merit, a simple term merit. But as you all said, it referring to this like field of, things, that we can accumulate, this field of merit. It can also be like the path to enlightenment as part of our merit. It can also be like, accumulated merit that accumulates like, money in our bank account, hopefully. And, merit has this, vast kind of meaning that encompasses all these different things. So this term of merit is vast, just like, the term for Buddhist teachings. It means more than just what we normally think of in English as merit. And one of the biggest things that it encompasses is merit that goes beyond just this life, that we carry with us all the way to enlightenment. And then the ultimate source of merit, the ultimate merit, is Buddhahood itself. And so Buddhahood itself, this ultimate merit, is not something that, can even be calculated. It is this like infinite merit. So merit encompasses all that.
Tineda abbreviation is that Lord Dudu Huina, Tandari Koranji, Mer Sayatela, Jig and Dev Sigrova. Not so moment jigla Chivoyova, Rava, ta good merit, Chumbaris, good merit is. Sam Loroyova, Luloroyova. Yamena, Leka Chavajik, successful Chava. Ordinary in a Yanko, ordinary merit Chadigoris.
So, in short, if we abbreviate all this, then there is merit and there is the fruition of that merit. And so, a sign of, the fruit of merit, just on an ordinary level, is when we feel good, when we have a pleasant experience. That is the result of merit. When our bodies are relaxed, our minds are relaxed and at ease, then that's a result of merit. When we engage in a task or activity and we accomplish it well, that is, the result of merit on an ordinary level.
That merit country is increasing. Country develop chigore is another sonam ke. That sonam roa. Sonam main pata, sonam sayada, sonam kile lagore, yana ngazo tanda terawa, gewa lagore da, oda tila kalabnata cheba medus.
So, when we talk about merit and the increasing of merit, then there really isn't a difference between, saying that which increases merit and the term in Tibetan, which is called gewa, which we can translate as virtue or virtuous actions. So virtuous actions and the increase of merit are synonyms in this way.
So now we have they give the paper. So first maybe they have the 10 virtues. Take a lot like this.
So then, in this handout that people have, in the explanation of karma, cause and effect, the extensive explanation, first it lists the 10 virtues. So these are, the 10 virtuous actions are to protect life, to
What are
be,
the 10 virtue lamnari? Yana sonam rawa sonam les lamnari cheba imundus.
so we can call these the 10 virtuous activities. We could also call these the 10, actions that lead to the accumulation of merit. So we can say that both. So it is to 1, to protect life, 2, to be generous, 3, to uphold ethical sexual conduct, 4, to tell the truth, 5, to speak in a way that fosters harmony between people, 6, to speak in a way that is kind and gentle, 7, to speak in a way that is meaningful, 8, to diminish attachments and to take joy in giving, 9, to cultivate loving kindness, 10, to cultivate understanding and faith in the truth of karma, cause and effect.
Okay, so maybe next one, maybe you guys reading together. First, protect the life.
So we'll read together. Ngaydun, you want to lead? Or?
To protect life means to look after and care for all living beings. It involves actively helping them when they are in danger, especially when their life is at risk. The greatest virtue in protecting life comes from caring for your parents, spiritual teachers, and those who have shown you the greatest kindness. This practice can be extended to all creatures, big or small, offering a simple yet effective way to benefit living beings and accumulate merit. Consider the practice of protecting insects. Rather than killing bugs found in your homes, we can gently catch them and release them in safe places outside. Protecting life also includes helping others in dangerous situations, caring for the sick, elderly, and disabled, and adopting compassionate dietary choices that minimize harm to animals and support sustainable food systems. There are so many ways we can bring this accumulation of virtue into our everyday conduct. Reflecting on all the different ways you can practice the virtue of protecting life, you can think, I am so fortunate because understanding the truth of karma, cause and effect, I have the opportunity to consciously apply myself in virtue. Reflecting again and again on the qualities of protecting living beings, contemplate in a way that inspires you to take every opportunity you can to practice the 10 virtues.
In the protect lives here at Lata, Jihi Javinata, ko Jik Conle, no, the Chad Yoruba, some have called this. Benatan, the Hijabe Momo Yoruba, Yoris.
So if we were to, go into detail about all the different ways that we could protect life, the explanations and kind of the way of explaining this extensively is, almost, too big. This is huge. There are infinite ways.
That in the Karsanata, so Karsana, so the Tazumbare, Sanjake, Ranke Lula, Pelona, Helen Noba Majiji, Sungroa. Ranke Lula, Pelonlas.
Pelon.
Yeah, example of our body.
We
We already said yes. We last Sunday we poking the needles, right? That's that. Rank Lula, Pelonla, Hela Nobamaji say theater, some corner, already is here.
So last week we had this example of, if you stick a needle into your thigh, it doesn't feel good. And so likewise, we shouldn't, stick a needle into somebody else. Because just as it hurts when we stick a needle into ourselves, it hurts even just sticking a needle just a little needle into ourselves, it hurts. So we shouldn't do that to others. And so, on one level, with not harming others, even just a needle's bit of harm.
Right, that's more important. Rank lula pelong las. Hianla noba maji jigs.
So even more importantly than, this, not wanting to harm, this example of not wanting to harm ourselves, we should strive not to harm others.
Right. So first thing I think the very important part is, maybe you can fix, okay, English later on. So the biggest problem we have is separation, right? So even within human beings, me and you, I and you is huge difference. And then the more deviation or more different is, yes, the animals, okay, we are human beings, those animals. And then this, so that's we have problem, Problem means biggest obstacle for love, compassion, care others because of the way of divisions. So first most important part is like for example, I think we did last Sunday too. So all weekend fishing, right? So first this we think fishing is fun, not big deal, right? Because of we and fish is totally different. We feel. But then, so this example ourselves. Okay, so I am somebody's hook up my huge, human being, right? It's not fish. So we maybe hook. Fish hook is very big. We need hook up, throw, and hang in the sky. We're thinking about how I feel. How much fear, how much pain, how much suffering. So then, similarly, whatever fish, or sometimes I, my mistakes too, So I think, walk a mosquito, okay, killed. They bite me coming here, sure, but one hand day somebody huge thing crash my body. How is I feel, We're not thinking, but sometimes difficult, those kind of like insects or mosquitoes, really hard. But we, same time, we lick a bit, thinking about them too, okay? And if we thinking about them means, then we maybe dedicate something, or, dedicate means pray, not dedicate. So said Om Mani Padme Hum, thinking about them is the powerful. So future we are karma input, maybe less the killing. But every time I no pay attention to anything, I can kill like 100 mosquitoes a day. But we make it thinking about them, we, even though not care how much we kill, But then if you're thinking the others, or mosquitoes or fish, we understanding their suffering, then even though necessary, even though we are mistake, but at the same time we're thinking about a little bit compassion to them. Maybe not right, okay? At the same time, I think also this, the karma is huge difference is, I said, last hunter, hunting or fishing, if you know food, necessary, the less the karma. you know. But big karma is, we say fun, you know, go to fishing. I enjoy the fishing. So that's a huge, you know, karma. And then I think, so anyway, so sometimes, of course, that's okay, I guess it.
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify, like Drupon was saying last weekend, that, you know, it's, you know, according to this system, it's non-virtuous to, you know, hunt and to fish. But, you know, some people actually do hunting and fishing because they need food. They have no other, you know, way to get food, or they're poor and they, you know, need to hunt. And so while that's not good, it's, you know, less negative than, you know, some people just hunt and fish for sport. You know, sometimes just to get a trophy, or because they think it's fun to, you know, for the chase, or, you know, and so that's 100 times worse, because it's just, you know, kind of a mockery. It shows a complete lack of respect for, you know, other living beings.
That may be making it a bit better. That telecareer senator, not so terida, so jaya tela, jisi utile, ningi jena, telling us so jaya tela, nyong tanyata, so jay, carson protection, that's so jaya, sorry, I think this is not killing. But this, they can protect chia latine, that nupaji tonto guyoris. Was something so jabiara, this is not killing. So the opposite, right? Nga zu simchen hian la ningji ji ji ge yo na, simchen hian ge nonga ji tong ge yo na, tene nga zu simchen de protection chia la tene, ko ni ba tong to ge yo res.
Tong, migla tong to.
No. Nupa. They have energy. Willing to protect. Yeah.
So, on the other hand, when we try to protect, you know, other beings, when we see other beings in situations of, you know, struggle, and we see them suffering, when we have compassion for them, when we, you know, see their suffering and we recite Om Mani Padme Hum, and we, you know, have this wish, you know, for them to be protected, then, you know, there is an energy that we send them, a protection.
That tela karsana nga zo so jabatela karsana terwa hirab go on so jaba sundu kari hirab go rwa kavi hirab de karsana da hirab de sing karsana o simchen phagila dunge yungdu sambaji pena hirab thike ngala dunge gogu mendu ngala dunge mandu wa na shimbi ke yang tela ta ta mera rwa ta peche dunge la ya mendu sorry this ngala dewa gogudu srwa ti dewa gowa na himbi hena dewa gogudu sambeke tene logic chevina tene nga zo so chubi ala tene ba tonto gu yores ben herap.
So there are rare circumstances, it is taught, where we can kill out of wisdom, and this is
protect life to the wisdom.
Oh, so
kyabya.
Oh yeah, kyabya. So che mare. Oh,
sorry.
Okay. So So excuse me. So we were talking about in particular to protect life out of wisdom, not kill.
Kill you next time.
That's sorry. So protecting, when we have wisdom, protecting life, then if we protect another being from suffering because we don't want them to experience suffering, then this is, you know, through the gateway of wisdom. If we think, oh, I'm going to protect another being because I don't want suffering, or because I want happiness, then that's not the full merit. We don't get the full merit. When we are thinking about wanting to benefit others, when we have compassion for their plight, when we want others to experience happiness, and we protect them, then that's protecting out of, wisdom.
That karma is functioning. That the behakugres. I think there is karala gorsena karma tela terawa nami seaje yores. Tene karma tela tendoa nyongwa juntu seaje da chipa juntu seaje doa. Tene wang can do is in a location. That is a Bangladesh.
So, it's important that we understand the functioning of how karma works. Our karma, in this sense, the continuum of our activities. And so, one aspect of this is how karma ripens, how our actions ripen into fruition. And so one aspect of this ripening process is how we experience the effects of karma. There is also how we act in the future.
So those four is very important, okay?
So we have how it ripens, how we experience the fruition of karma, chepa, zina, yanga, cheya, sumpa, the chepa.
Chipa juntu.
Chepa jundu.
Yeah, chipa juntu, no?
Yanga.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how we might again engage in karma in the future, that's a third aspect. And then a fourth aspect is the power of the fruition. Wangi drebu.
Yeah, okay. Tati karsena ngato semjen jik so jabi na ti ke nami kin dribetela tene jibu yungre is benatiyan ko karsena re be nekap tang tatok law do nekap yang semo ta nge semjen jo so jaba yin zambi jibu 타토 양티 juk 가르치고 요래 라비나 지금 마오 발라테네 상지 그 공방 토비아 심jen라 팬토비아게 누파지 드비지 랩토고 요래스
So, for example, if we protect the life of one single sentient being, there are, how that ripens. There are like the temporary benefits and then the ultimate benefit. So temporarily, when we save a being's life, we're like, yes, I saved that being's life. And we feel nice. We feel satisfied. We're like, ooh, I saved that being. And so it just feels good temporarily. And then ultimately, though, it sets us up to attain the state of Buddhahood, because we generate this pattern of wanting to help beings, and this builds to the point where I want to help every single sentient being throughout the universe, and I want to establish them in ultimate happiness. So saving a single life, can lead in this way to ultimate, Buddhahood.
tene chipa jundu labdo tsendeta chima ninja yongyores.
So then, in terms of this activity, the continuity of this activity, this, ripens in this life. This continuity happens again in this life, but also in future lifetimes.
Right. So this life, first only you want protected one life, right? And then you did either one life, protect the one life, or one sentient being, or one being. And then that's kind of benefit you know you feel, then you wanting to more protect sentient beings. So that is Chipa Juni, what they call the habitual.
Yeah, the habitual continuity, kind of the pattern that we develop.
And then not only this life, maybe next life, still you willing to protect the other life. Or that is Chipa Juntus. Nyoma Juntus.
So then,
Next one.
another aspect of this is how, we experience this, the pattern of our experience.
다 심chen 소ja biki tilledana nyoma juntu tala karsana tene rangala nacha yungya tserungbo yungya tene ji karse gore yang jewa chema yinbina tena yung tuguyo res.
So one way that, if we help save the lives of others, this can lessen our experience of illness and sickness in this life, and it can lead to longevity. This is one of the causes of longevity, and this can happen in this lifetime, and it can also happen in future lifetimes.
Tene wang kendewe songwa wang kendewe la nekapti rang sacha kawa dibina sacha kawan robina tene jik ko obstacle ro tene maimba sacha kawan ro na jik devo sacha kawan ro na jik lel abo even though like small things you're traveling kawan ro na tene ko lel abo jik yong to guyores. Tigana yiki ko jewa chima ro sono tambi na ya jewa chima dela jik sacha yabo insa tene jinga zoda if namba ina jik nambe kichula nyamlen chise ki sacha yowa oda tini la so be tene jewa len to guyores.
So one of the, the power of the fruition is that, one of the things that we experience when we protect life is that, temporarily, wherever we go, we experience a lessening of obstacles, and things go well. Things are easier for us. Even when we're traveling, things are easier. And in future lifetimes, things also go well. And we are born in places where there is the Dharma teachings and so forth, other spiritual teachings like this, we find easily.
다 망제 처럼 하고 그러와 얘는 양다 단다디 ngazo megewa jötang gewa jöse apostle 와다 단다디 ngazo benna so machibi sabla tene so ondongba songde 다 꼬마 마자베 ke sabla jimba 동바 songde tene tene 다 단다 가르잖아 디 로그iem 마지 치틀라 tene 동바 송바 송로와 다들 루지고는 메게버려 tene 다 next 가르잖아 가서 꼬마 마자베게 다 opposite antidote 카리라위나 짐바동야 세야들이다 페제트지 럭기스.
And so, in this way, there are the different, 10 virtuous actions and 10 non-virtuous actions. And so, when we abstain from the non-virtuous actions, in this case, the first of the non-virtuous actions is not to kill. The non-virtuous action is killing. So when we don't kill, but we instead protect life, that's the virtuous action. And so the second non-virtuous action is stealing. And so when we don't steal, but instead are generous, the opposite of stealing, then that's the virtuous side. And so the third non-virtuous action is to engage in sexual misconduct. And so when we abstain from that and uphold our ethical vows and discipline, then that is the virtuous side. So these are the three virtues and non-virtues of that we do physically with the body. And so we've gone through protecting life, the opposite of killing, and then the second is, not stealing, and the opposite of that is to be generous.
All right, so first del do generosity
The
no first del.
So then, in this handout, it says under to be generous, there are three types of generosity: material generosity, the generosity of providing protection from fear, and third, the generosity of dharma.
Gathering, accumulation, merit. Okay, so maybe, I don't know, we together is not really good hearing either. So maybe individually, maybe reading. So maybe online, maybe first thing you can read first the material generosity.
Material generosity involves giving away wealth and material objects with a joyful heart, wishing to benefit others. This includes making financial offerings or donations, giving thoughtful gifts without expectation of reciprocation, offering food, sharing your own belongings with others, sponsoring a child's education, covering medical expenses for someone unable to afford care, inviting someone to a meal, leaving generous tips for service workers, supporting disaster relief efforts with donations of supplies or money, and the list could go on and on. There are countless ways to practice material generosity. You can get creative and take joy in cultivating this beautiful quality of the heart.
Okay, Eric, you can read this material generosity. Fear.
So then the next is the generosity of providing protection from fear. The generosity of providing protection from fear is very similar to the virtue of protecting life. It can also include soothing someone who is in a state of anxiety or distress, providing comfort to someone experiencing physical or emotional pain, or providing a sense of safety for others by engaging with them with warmth, openness, and non-judgmental kindness.
Tini ta nga tso di jig la tanda ta particular nga tso sangha member ina re jig la rokpa chiya jig la ta ganye senare kanta whatever we needed. So sometimes hearing and chiya de pe kechen bores tini tele yang karsena ko jimba chando gores.
So, in this way, this is something that we can do with our Sangha community. This is something that we can do with our, friends, these forms of generosity. And, when we have the opportunity, we can, share and be generous with, whatever we can do.
Sometimes we are, it's just normal time, okay. But sometimes there is someone, I don't know, maybe issues, maybe there are problems, So that is maybe even though just one small talk or small call them, small conversation, but they help, the great help for them. So that's a really kind of big generosity. So this, whatever kind of help them and talk to them, I think that is, the worldly sense, social, and also as well as in the Dharma practices. Okay, so maybe someone in the online, maybe reading the what calls the generosity of Dharma.
Hey, can you hear?
Yes.
The generosity of Dharma. The generosity of Dharma involves sharing the Buddhist teachings with others. It is considered to be the most beneficial form of generosity because it can help lead others toward awakening. To be generous with Dharma includes sharing your own wisdom and understanding of the teachings to inspire others on the path. However, this must be done with sensitivity to the recipient's level of openness and readiness. True Dharma generosity is motivated purely by the wish to benefit others, not by desires that bolster your own ego or create feelings of pride or superiority regarding your knowledge. The intention behind sharing the teachings is crucial. It should come from compassion and a genuine desire to alleviate suffering rather than from a place of self-importance. The generosity of Dharma can also include introducing people to Dharma resources, sharing a book you've read, a recording of a teaching you've listened to, inviting someone to a Dharma event, sharing a beautiful tanka or Dharma item, or connecting someone with a qualified teacher. There are many different ways that you can practice the generosity of Dharma. Reflecting on all the different ways you can practice the 3 types of generosity and being generous in general, you can think, I am so fortunate because understanding the truth of karma, cause and effect, I have the opportunity to consciously apply myself in virtue, reflecting again and again on the qualities of generosity. Contemplate in a way that inspires you to take every opportunity you can to practice the 10 virtues. Thank you.
Thank you. Oda dindu tereda generosity te tangi na chikpares drivete ko nami kinduwi nare wang kinduwi nare mari ma chipa juntuwi nare nyoma juntuwi nare wang kinduwi chikpares.
So then, also with the being generous, this virtuous action, abstaining from, stealing and so forth, there are the ways that this positive action ripens, the ways that we experience this, the power of the experience of this, the, pattern of activity that happens, and then the kind of power of the fruition of this experience. And so these elements of how this karma, functions are similar also to protecting life.
Te가 나이다 ngatsodi jimba seata mancheji hakuyore tenida pedela samsha tene chawayuna degres.
So then, many of you have, some understanding of how generosity works. And so we'll stop here. And then if people have some questions, then they can ask those questions.
Right, so probably this we have every religious or every tradition or every religious, so we know very well how important is, generosity. So, okay.
I have a question about generosity and karma as far as like when it comes to maybe having a positive intention to help or help somebody or something, but then you are actually just like enabling them, and then that becomes where you helping them is actually you trying to control them or something, and does this become like negative karma even if your original intention was to be helpful? There's an underlying intention of like control or attachment.
So two kind of, yeah, one, it could be where it could become enabling or controlling.
Yeah.
One become negatives, or right?
Yeah, hakos de injikiloksu la jimpa chena. Samsam la de chon drabo shargire. Chik la bena michik dupo ki lega chena, and a konzo la jimpa chena, then a konzo le labo nangshin dupo che tukire. De chon che. Enabling sergiore. Dikpa enabling. Then nipa zana mishanta la jimpa chena in a konso ki kola wangcha ki konong yuna de lo ki jimpa drabo de chon nipa. Then so sigi orbe ani kandres cheko.
I think good question. Yeah. I think first thing maybe one is I think your question is Bena Tendo la Sarwa. Ko Majeke ta homeless chagunare ko Karina Kora Tamatengonare Aratongunare Tindiji Tunkenjigla Kora Pecha Medunga so Jimbaji Tana Koran la Tini Mar because I had raised Tilabu Sarwa.
Day trouble.
That tea in Aranke some not on use. Yina yang ta anyway koran ta dong de yorwa pedanga choki benata homeless inari khande na chi dollar nga do chi tena koran tong gre matina koran tong gre tendu peche ti sha na yaksa le do nge ten yores that is my opinion.
You know, younger than young na. Draina.
Yeah, Draina Dixar. Yangcha take Marwa in that koji. Yangcha take to Marwa. Benachanta, chick and this Langa and Yorwa.
Right.
Tendo some tangores.
So, for example, with the example of enabling, Drupon brings up the example because sometimes there are people that, you know, are without a home, a house, and you know they might not be that well off, and there's, you know, the very real possibility if you give them money, then they're going to use the money for like maybe some hard drugs or alcohol. You know, that can happen if you, like, you know, some people you can kind of tell. And so, you know, about this situation though, Drupon has some, you know, thought. And, you know, these types of people, if they are addicted to drugs and alcohol, they're probably going to do that one way or another. And so giving them money or not giving them money, like at one point in time, if you have the thought, oh, maybe I should be generous and help this person who doesn't have anything, then Drupon was saying, still, maybe you should just be generous. You know, one way or another, you know, they're going to do that. But if you're generous, you know, then that's still trying to help them. But then I asked, should you just keep on giving them money? And then Drupon is like, no, you don't have to just keep on giving them money.
Right, so that's I thinking lot, you know. So I think every country too. So like India too, okay, don't give those people, you know, like in the street, whatever, in the car. So, okay, they can buy the drugs or they can buy the alcohol. Sure, maybe. But they already just, whether I give like $5 or not, they're doing same thing, you know. So my side tension is maybe buy the dog, or maybe they buy maybe lunch, So that kind of thing is, I don't know, individual. By my side is not all the time. Okay, we're giving, keep going, go there, but like for instance, in the road or those things. But same time is also we kind of, you're right. So this compassion and wisdom is together. That's really check. So like biggest issue is maybe you're really compassionate to them, to like maybe homeless. Okay, come in, stay in my house, right? So that's probably not right. You in wisdom, okay. If you do that, maybe okay, you can give food or stay like a couple of days. Seems to be nice, but maybe other homeless didn't leave, or maybe they had big problems, or drugs, or fight, or so this is very low. So there are no rules, So this contains really carefully, First, just only not first step. Okay, I could give this one or this homeless. I could do help this one. But second step, whatever we do, something happens. So that's really thinking about. Also, what is another question? Similar this one.
Then nipa is na jimpa tangna yene mishanta ki kola wangcha. O kares na ngaso.
For example.
Pena ngaso mishanta la ngaso la tango takpa tango samba yuna.
Yeah.
Then kongso wangcha yomare ngaso wangcha chasama yo. Then loki kumong drabo. Jimpa tang ki kapa.
I'm not sure exactly what is law. In a course of this, like if we give people, then that people maybe rely on
control. Yeah, moranki sonya.
So I don't know second question what is
So
control.
if we give to people, but our maybe part of our motivation is to control them.
Oh, okay. I give this one. I want to control. That's not good. The generosity. No. The Jimba, sorry, that one or no?
Yeah, I think sometimes that there is an unconscious, not necessarily that is like our primary conscious motivation, but that unconsciously out of we want to help people out of motivation of fear or something in order to feel like we have control over things.
That we not much time. But yes, there is actually a lot of details. So how your motivation, right? So this very, very important to you give. And then the very, very important is whatever you give object. So you looks like generosity to, or drugs, or alcohol, or like weapons, or that's not right. And same time, you said this, okay, I can give this person some generosity, sort of, but I try to control, So that's not right. So always the wisdom, So actually, it's Dharma is everything, as much as possible, sincere, Sincere means, even though they say it's the generosity, like for example, this kind of really, with Dharma is very special, So we talking about merit, we get or not, So sometimes I think, I don't know here, but like for example, Asia or Chinese tradition or Tibetans, like for example, somebody give to or monastery or or I don't know, Lama or whatever, this temple, like $100,000 or something, whatever, like big thing. And then the next thing, oh, I put a little bit more of that, so maybe I really famous, I biggest, offering, So this not really object how much important, how much not thinking about, instead of luck, or maybe I become very famous, So that's the, did not get, even though like pay a lot, but not get married, basically. And same thing in the practice, so like even though there's a 3-year retreat. So depending is motivation, or maybe I get, I do meditation or whatever, I Dharma practice, or the meditation is 3-year retreat. Maybe I finish then, maybe I become like famous, or maybe I become teacher, or I maybe something, Then they said, actually, the specific Dalai Lama said, I think they said, if that motivation, I said, he don't know this benefit, but you yourself put you in jail, prison, yourself. So nobody's put the jail, but the own put jail, just you never go, sort of like retreat means you have locked, But that is everything's depending motivation, so generosity or even Dharma practice, even the retreat, so. Okay. Some more questions or comments?
I have a question,
Yeah.
Drupala.
Okay.
Let's say you're being generous in the sharing of the Dharma by sharing a teaching or an event or text or something. And then whoever you've shared this with, something negative happens to them. And they come back to you and they say, I think it's because what happened to me is because of what you shared with me. What do you do in that circumstance? Thank you.
For example, what is circumstance?
Like, let's say you share something with somebody, you share the Dharma, or you take them to the events or something, and then they fall very ill, and they say, oh, I think that's because I went to that, or I did that practice, or you shared that with me. So now I've become sick.
Okay.
Like a punishment, like they're being punished for something they did outside of their normal thought process or belief.
Yeah, maybe you're thinking, but I understand it. But we can Dharma share, okay, or is careful, so they really, if share to the Dharma, and that person really interesting, they really want. So actually the Buddha said is, in the Buddhism is we not really convert, right? Nangba chagya taki chi chog mari la yorwa.
Konzo nangba mena.
What ngaso nangba chagya ke teni taki chi chog mari la. Every individually willing to the interesting Dharma.
The misamala.
No, this the nangba chagya la. Nangba mayimba jila nangba chagya chi chog mari sungdo Buddha.
Nangba mena dene she tukiyomare.
Yeah.
So
I think also this in the Buddha specifically. So we so not allowed to, if someone is not Buddhism, right? So then we said what call this? We try to convert to Buddhism, right? So not allowed to, So this individual choice. So even though like the Dharma said a teacher, so teacher every time we call recourse, right? Please teach me. Why? Reason is, if you really interested in Dharma, that teacher allowed to teach. But people don't want to or listen the teachings or not interesting, even the teacher cannot teach them. Because they are non-virtuous, the other chatter, we call the other chatters like 4 different other chatters, right? Other chatter. Noah? Ngangcheo.
The ngacha?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the like kind of worthless chatter?
No, this ngangcheo. These 4 like kind of like this ngangcha is the kind of truth other chatter, Yes, Lama teaching the truth, but not benefit. This the part of the negative. Yeah, other chatter. So we call truth other chatter. If truth, Lama teaching the truth, but not benefit. So not allowed to. So anyway, your question is, if you really want to something, want to tracks, want to whatever Dharma stuff, they're really interesting, they really want, that's okay, you can hear or you can give. But otherwise we cannot. If not interesting, here's Dharma, but this is not beneficial, Okay.
I guess, one time I heard from my Lama in Mexico that we got to be very careful how we share the Dharma, because there are certain, if I'm not a qualified teacher, I can mislead someone inadvertently. But my understanding is, for example, there are certain teachings like the ones we're seeing right now that is very intellectual and easy to understand. The virtues we can talk and read about it. But for example, a Vajrayana practice involves samayas, and some of those are secret teachings, right? That it involves having the empowerment and the direct transmission from the Lama, because there's a blessing and there's a samaya in it. So we should consider those teachings so precious that in order to share that, it's got to come directly from a Lama. Because if the person is not ready to receive, that sadhana, that practice, instead of helping them, we could, harm them. So I think it would be important for you to guide us in that regards as to what is shareable and what is not shareable.
Right, you're right. So that's good, so teaching. So teaching is the different, the qualified teacher has experience, teacher has transmissions, teacher has informants, so they can teach, so otherwise just randomly, okay, I can teach. So that's maybe not good. They make mistakes. So more, I think, talking about this time, I think hearing the text and those things, still, there's somebody really need it, interesting, they can hear, but otherwise, we just randomly, we cannot advertise, cannot hear, because of the no benefits. Mm-hmm. So you have questions?
No questions online, Drumpala.
Okay.
Maybe remind people that the 2-day retreat is coming up as well at some point.
Yeah, the date for the retreat is?
March 29 and 30.
So next weekend, not next weekend, 2 weekends from now, March 29th and March 30th, there will be this 2-day retreat with Drupon Thinley. And this is a condensed way to do, this practice, spending 2 days to really contemplate karma, cause, and effect. Continuing with this cycle of, meditating on the preliminaries of Fivefold Mahamudra.
Okay. So if no questions, comments, then dedication.
Okay, to page 24. By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drupon Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. And then to page 19. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. Chancho Sencho Rinpoche Mache Panam Ke George Ke Panyam Pa Me Payam Gong Ne Gong Du Pelvashong Chang Chu Sem Cho Rinpoche Ma Ke Panam Ke George Ke Panyam Pa Me Payam Gong Ne Gong Du Pelvashong.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
Drupon. Thank you, everyone.
See you next Sunday. Thank you.